Okay, welcome in part two of this series. We are going to analyze the headcount data set and we are going to prepare the HR dashboard. In this video, we are going to compute the employees turnover ratios using the pivot tables that should be dynamic. With the help of slicers, we can see the turnover ratios, hiring trends, leftover trends, all other stuff for each department or the leadership group or whatever slices we are going to use. So let's create, first of all, we need to create two pivot tables. One would be our hiring ratios, hiring trend, and second would be the leftover trend. Just copy this pivot table, okay, and control C, paste here somewhere, control V, and remove this department, also this sum of active only, and we will drag the field hire date, okay, hire date, and we will also drag this hire date in the values, okay. Okay, perfect. Now we have these values in years, but again these are grouped, so we need to ungroup, and only we will have the years. Right click here and click here on the group and only years, okay. Perfect. Now, this actually at the moment this pivot table is showing the number of hires in that specific period. So we need to find the running total. Okay. So drag the hire date again, and now we have count as well. And right click here and summarize, show values as running total in base field is hire date, yes, okay. So now you can see we have 69 here, the running total is 69, but in the next year we have 66 more higher, so now running total is 135. That is the sum of 69 and 66, 135, okay. So rename this field, this is hiring, okay, and this is the running total, okay. Perfect. So copy this table and paste here. Now we will calculate the exits. So instead of this hire date and this running total and hiring, we will now use the exit date, okay, exit date, and again exit date here, ungroup it, select this group and only for years, okay. And again drag this exit date again, and now we need to calculate the running total. Right click, show values as running total in base is year, exit date, perfect. So rename it left, okay, and running total, okay, perfect. So these are the two pivot tables we have. Now we need to use some helper fields here, and for this purpose, we need to find only the turnover ratios for only last 5 years. Okay, so let's create table, then the values will be based on these two pivot tables. So we, because the formula for the turnover ratio is um, turnover for the period, turnover for the period, and divide it by the opening head count for that period. Or some suggest that instead of using the opening head count, you need to calculate the average head count for that period. So basically opening and closing divided by 2. So again it's the a choice, but we need to calculate these values before computation of the ratio. Okay, so for that purpose, we will have a column for count adjustment. So it will show us only with the help of this column, we will calculate the turnover ratios for the last 5 years only. Okay, next is the year. Okay, so for year we will use the max function. Okay, max. Okay, and we will go back to our employees data, and here we have two date columns, hire date and exit date. So we will fetch the maximum value from these two columns. Okay, enter and convert, find since now we have this value which is the date, and get the year from this date. Okay, year function, enter. So that is 2012, the maximum value which in our table. Now this will be our adjustment. So we will use the 4, and this year minus this adjustment. Okay, so that is 2008. Now we will use 2 3 2 1 and 0. And if I drag this value or copy and paste this value, so now we have 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, perfect. So automatically as our date, our table is growing, we will have more years and dates and employees, and automatically we will this table will be adjusted only for the last 5 years. Next we need to figure out the hiring in this specific period. Also we have to figure out the left. In that period we need to calculate the total hired till this date, till this period, and total left. Okay, and we also need to figure out the opening head count and closing head count. Okay, opening HC, closing HC, and once we have these values, then we will be able to calculate the turnover ratio. Okay, and we will also calculate the change in closing HC in percentage. Okay, perfect. So now we need to find the hiring for the year 2008. So it's is equal to, and select the any value in this hiring column from this pivot table. So click here anywhere in this table, in this pivot table, but for the hiring. Okay, and enter. Now you see that we have this value 1998. It's actually at the moment is punched. So remove this value 1998, and we will link this item 1 with this value year 2008. Enter. Now you will find that 74 in 2008 we hired 74 people. Okay, and since it is now connected, linked with this AK4 column, so now it is dynamic. If I drag this formula, and you will see automatically now we have the value AK5 for 2009, that is 22. If you see here for 22 in 2009 we hired 22 people. So now automatically we have the hire only for that specific period. Similarly we will do this activity for the left, is equal to left and link somewhere with this left column in the left pivot table. And since you know why I am linking this, removing this 2000 value and linking it with this cell, if I drag this get pivot formula, you will see there is no change, because this is the 2000 is item 1 is hard coded punched. So that's the reason we need to remove it, and we need to link with this cell. Okay, perfect. Now we need to find the total height, because now this running total will be helpful, because this is showing the total height till that period. Okay, so use again is equal to link anywhere with the running total in this pivot table, and remove this 1998 and link with this cell 2008. Okay, down, control D, and perfect. So do the same activity for the total leftover. Okay, remove this sign and link with 2008. Okay, control D, perfect. Now here is a tricky part. We need to figure out the opening head count, and to calculate the opening head count, it's only a simple math. First of all, you need to understand we have total hired this till this date. So total hired minus total left. Okay, these are the people, 497 are the people we had till this date, and 75 are the people who had left us. Okay, so now we have the net value. What are the active, or the closing head count? Okay, let me link this. The closing head count is total hired minus total left. Okay, 422. But when we talk about the opening head count, you need to understand the opening head count is actually the closing head count minus the people we have hired in this period plus the people who had left. Okay, and that is 366. So this is the simple math, but by this way we will be able to calculate the opening head count. Now copy this formula, and we have the opening head count and closing head count for each period. In this way, next we need to calculate the turnover ratio. The turnover ratio, again, it's your choice, but what I am going to use is equal to total, so left in that period divided by the opening head count. Again, it's your choice. If you want to figure out, use the average of opening and closing, or you want to use the closing or opening. I am using the opening head count. Okay, perfect. And change the format to percentage. To one decimal is sufficient, so drag this value, and now we have 3.8, 10.8. Perfect. Also find the change in closing headcount percentage. It's simply the closing headcount minus the opening headcount. Okay, use the parentheses because the board mass concept, and now divide this with the closing headcount of the last year. Okay, use the percentage, two decimal point. Okay, oh sorry, one decimal point, drag it. Perfect. So now we are able to calculate the turnover ratio, but again there is a problem. Let's suppose if I use the slicer for these two tables, and insert, if I go to the insert tab, and here we have the slicer, and I select this department. Perfect. Okay, department, and I will again link this slicer with this table as well. I will explain what the usage of slicer and linking with the tables in later video, but for the time being, let's understand the problem. Remote connection report, and with the pivot table 11. Okay, now you see that if I select the admin, okay, now we have values for 2002. The one is missing, 8 is missing, 9 is missing, 11 is missing, because in this period there is no hiring for this admin department. Similarly, in 2008 to there's no turnover left in this department after 2002. And if you see this table, we have the reference error because the values are not available in these pivot tables. So to overcome this problem, we will use a simple hack, that is that instead of whenever there is no value, this pivot table uh, show the values which have no data. Okay, so for that purpose, let click here anywhere on this pivot table, and specifically for this heading, actually the row dimension. Okay, select any value in the row dimension, go to the pivot table, analyze. Maybe for some people we will have the analyze, for some we will have the option, depending on the Excel version. Click here on the field setting. Okay, click here layout and print, and you will see show item label, show items with no data. Okay, click here. Okay, now you see for 2005 there was no hiring, but again it is showing 2005 as a blank. Okay, do this activity for this pivot table as well. For the left, go to the field setting, layout and print, show item with no data, check this option. Okay, perfect. Now if I click on any department, you will not get the error function now. Perfect, it's working fine. And that's it. In the next video we will use these values to create the dashboard, graphs and charts. So stay tuned and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. See you. Bye bye.